Imagine two real estate investors sitting in the exact same suburban neighborhood. The first investor owns a single-family rental house. Everything seems fine until the tenant suddenly packs their bags and leaves. Overnight, his vacancy rate instantly shoots up to 100%, leaving him completely on the hook for the entire mortgage, property tax, and insurance bill out of his own pocket. But right next door, the second investor owns a 100-unit apartment complex. When 3 of his tenants vanish into the night, 97 others are still paying their rent on the first of the month. The building barely blinks, the mortgage gets paid, and thousands of dollars in cash keep flowing seamlessly into his bank account every single month. This is the ultimate financial cheat code of multifamily real estate, an asset class that turns basic human shelter into an unsinkable cash machine. To the outside world, owning a massive apartment complex looks like the ultimate passive income fantasy. You buy a giant pile of bricks, hire someone else to collect the rent, and sit back while your bank account compounds on autopilot. However, beneath that polished image lies a high-stakes arena of financial engineering, sudden operational disasters, and hidden money leaks that can utterly destroy an unprepared owner. You are not just buying land, you are buying a complex, living corporate ecosystem where dozens of human lives unfold under one roof. The entry ticket alone is massive. Acquiring a mid-sized 100-unit apartment complex routinely costs anywhere from $10 to $25 million. Investors rarely use their own cash for this. Instead, they assemble private equity syndications, pooling funds from private investors while securing a heavy commercial bank mortgage for the remaining balance. But unlike a standard home loan that evaluates your personal salary, commercial lenders care about one thing only: the building's ability to generate cold, hard profit. Once you take ownership, the entire game revolves around a single critical metric known as net operating income, or NOI. This single number dictates your monthly cash flow and the ultimate market value of the property. In residential real estate, your home's value depends on what your neighbor sold their house for last week. But in commercial multifamily real estate, your building's value is calculated directly as a multiple of its net income. If you can increase the property's annual net income by $50,000, you haven't just added $50,000 to your bank account. At a standard 6% capitalization rate, you have instantly boosted the total market value of your building by over $800,000 out of thin air. This dynamic is called forced appreciation, and it is how smart investors build generational wealth without waiting for the market to rise. So how exactly do top operators squeeze this added value out of every square inch of the property? It goes far beyond basic monthly rent. Modern apartment complexes operate like mini enterprises where every feature is monetized. Beyond baseline rent, owners generate steady secondary revenue from assigned covered parking spots, monthly pet fees, storage locker rentals, and coin or app-based laundry rooms. Some operators charge mandatory trash valet fees or partner with internet providers to earn exclusive commission checks from every resident in the building. A modest $50 monthly add-on across 200 units translates to an extra $120,000 in annual income, adding over $2 million in newly created asset value. Yet collecting those checks is only half the battle, because an apartment complex is a relentless, money-devouring beast. Operating expenses routinely eat up 40 to 60% of your total revenue every single month. Property taxes jump higher the moment you buy the building, while insurance premiums have skyrocketed in recent years. But the most dangerous leaks are hidden in plain sight inside your utility infrastructure. Consider a single running toilet in Unit 4B. If a tenant ignores a sticking flush valve, that single toilet can waste over 2,000 gallons of water every day. Across a couple of unmonitored units, an unnoticed plumbing leak can quietly add thousands of dollars to your monthly city water bill, burning straight through your profit margins before you even realize what happened. Managing these physical and financial leaks requires constant vigilance, but most owners cannot physically monitor the property themselves. They hire third-party property management companies to handle daily operations in exchange for 3 to 8% of total collected revenue. However, this creates a classic hidden conflict of interest. The management company gets paid based on gross rental income, not net profit. They have zero financial incentive to negotiate lower prices with contractors, hunt down subtle utility leaks, or double-check maintenance bills. In fact, corrupt or lazy managers often rely on overpriced third-party vendors who pay them stealthy kickbacks behind your back. If an owner remains completely passive, vendor invoices will balloon. repair costs will double, and property managers will quietly siphon away the property's profit margins while leaving the owner with the bill. The human element inside an apartment building adds another layer of unpredictable chaos. Unlike office buildings where corporate tenants leave at 5 o'clock, apartment residents live, sleep, and experience their personal lives inside your asset. A sudden job loss, a messy divorce, or a medical crisis can instantly turn a reliable model tenant into a non-paying occupant. Managing tenants requires a delicate balance between strict business rules and human empathy. If you are too soft, unpaid rent snowballs into massive bad debt. If you are ruthless, angry residents pack up and leave, leaving you with empty apartments and heavy turnover costs. When a tenant completely stops paying and refuses to move, you enter the painful world of commercial evictions. In tenant-friendly jurisdictions, evicting a non-paying resident can take anywhere from 6 months to over a year of complex court proceedings. During this entire time, you receive zero rent for that unit, while continuously paying legal fees and court costs. Worse yet, disgruntled tenants facing eviction frequently retaliate before being escorted out by local marshals. They smash drywall, pour concrete down drain pipes, ruin kitchen appliances, and rip out copper wiring. Restoring a trashed unit back to rentable condition can cost upwards of $10,000 in emergency repairs. A single nightmare eviction can easily wipe out an entire year's profit margin for that specific apartment. Even if your units remain fully occupied, macroeconomic forces can suddenly threaten your entire financial stability. Many commercial multifamily deals are financed using short-term floating-rate debt or bridge loans with fixed terms of 3 to 5 years. If interest rates spike dramatically right when your loan matures, refinancing your debt becomes a nightmare. If your property's net operating income hasn't grown fast enough to cover the new, higher interest payments, you face a devastating choice: inject massive amounts of fresh personal cash into the property or hand the keys over to the bank in commercial foreclosure. At the same time, shifting local market dynamics can quietly drain your tenant base. Imagine a massive private equity firm like Blackstone buying the vacant plot down the street and building a brand new, ultra-luxury apartment complex equipped with resort-style pools, co-working lounges, and automated parcel lockers. Suddenly, your older Class B property looks completely outdated. To keep your current residents from moving, you are forced to offer expensive rental concessions, like 2 months of free rent, which instantly slashes your monthly cash flow. To stay competitive for the long haul, you have no choice but to pour millions of dollars into modernizing your property's interiors and common areas just to keep pace with new market standards. To overcome these aggressive market pressures and build long-term wealth, successful operators execute targeted value-add strategies. Instead of buying expensive, fully modernized properties with zero room for financial growth, experienced real estate syndicators actively seek out tired, undermanaged properties owned by passive mom-and-pop landlords. These older buildings often have rental rates sitting 20 to 30% below current market averages, simply due to dated interiors and neglected curb appeal. The strategy is straightforward and highly effective. Buy the property, systematically remodel unit interiors with modern vinyl plank flooring, stainless steel appliances, and granite countertops, and then raise the rent to true market rates as old leases expire. Adding $200 in monthly rent across a 200-unit building adds nearly $500,000 directly to your annual net operating income, creating millions of dollars in instant equity value. Yet, despite the operational intensity, risks, and constant maintenance battles, multifamily real estate remains an unmatched wealth builder thanks to powerful tax advantages embedded directly in commercial law. Chief among these benefits is cost segregation and accelerated depreciation. Tax codes treat physical real estate as an asset that steadily degrades over time, allowing owners to write off its value against their earned income. Through a formal cost segregation study, engineers break down the entire physical building into separate components, allowing items like carpeting, light fixtures, parking lots, and appliances to be fully written off in as little as 5 years instead of nearly 30. This creates massive paper losses that offset real-world rental income, allowing smart investors to legally generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in actual cash flow while paying minimal or even zero federal income tax. When it comes time to realize these massive equity gains, successful multifamily owners rarely sell outright and pay heavy capital gains taxes. Instead, they utilize tax-deferred vehicles like the 1031 exchange or programmatic cash-out refinancing. With a 1031 exchange, an investor can sell a smaller property for a massive profit and roll the entire proceeds directly into a larger apartment complex without paying a single dollar in capital gains tax at the time of sale. Alternatively, through a commercial cash-out refinance, an owner can borrow against the newly created equity, extracting millions of dollars in tax-free cash while retaining full ownership of the cash-flowing asset. This continuous cycle of buying, value-add upgrading, refinancing, and rolling equity forward allows real estate investors to build generational fortunes on complete autopilot. Ultimately, owning a multifamily apartment complex is far from a passive, hands-off fantasy. It is an intense, highly tactical business that demands relentless cost management, sharp financial structuring, and proactive risk management. But for those who master the subtle mechanics of net operating income, vendor oversight, and tax strategy, multifamily real estate offers an extraordinary combination of steady monthly cash flow, rapid equity creation, and long-term financial freedom. In an unpredictable world where shelter remains a basic human need, owning the roof over dozens of families stands strong as one of the most powerful wealth engines ever created.